Hello and welcome to the second season of Big Performance Podcast. We're doing some changes, and today my guest is John Ryan, brilliant coach and consultant with huge expertise. So I'm looking forward to this conversation. Hello, John.
Hello, Alex. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Thanks for having me
It's
here. I'm
more
looking forward to it.
definitely. How is it more comfortable for you, John or Dr. John?
Uh, John is fine. Yeah, whatever works.
Are you a doctor?
Yes, I have a PhD.
Ah, I was looking at your LinkedIn, and the work Dr. John does is an amazing gift to the world. I stumbled upon this review from a nice lady, and I'm like, the guy is a coach, and this says you're a doctor as well. All right, so what's your PhD about?
It's in clinical hypnotherapy.
Shit, that sounds smart.
Well, I wanted to dive in and learn as much as I could about creating change. So, depending on if you call me John or Dr. John, really depends on where we met. It was more often used when I was traveling and training. And I did that for roughly 15 years, more than half the year, about 150 days. Well, not half the year, but 150 days a year on average, traveling around the world. And so that was kind of my stage name. People mostly knew me from that.
You are saying around the world. Do you mean that, or do you
Well,
mean US?
around the world. So once you go to any other country, you qualify as an international speaker. And so I
Was it
wouldn't
Canada?
say in the yeah Canada, exactly, Canada, Mexico. I mean, and things like that. So, but like that's it. So North America, let's say North America, not
Right.
global world speaker. To be fair,
So you would travel in the continent.
Exactly, up and down. That was pretty much it.
Awesome. All right. So what's your main focus nowadays? What kind of clients you're talking to? What kind of people you're attracting?
So I've been for the last almost 30 years been trying to figure out like who I help with. When you think about coaching, it's such a broad topic, and coaching skills can be used for any niche. And so I've done many niches over the years, from sales training. After my hypnosis, I got really heavy into doing that hypnosis, even down into hypnosis and birthing trainings. And so that was a wild turn for a while. My wife and I would co-lead that, and that was an interesting experience. But that was before the training and traveling took off. And since then, I've kind of refined it. And I think the best way to describe who I help is that I train coaches to do what I do, and I coach leaders.
Hmm. That's good. How do you attract? So I want to get a little change for my podcast, and I invite you to a kind of digital process audit because we are very alike in the terms of how we approach business and helping people within the business scenario. How I think the bus- modern businesses are, modern business is a cyborg. There is a human piece and there is a machine piece. While at your proficiency, you are dealing with the human part, I am the coach for the machine part. So digital operations is where I am proficient. So I cannot help you with the human part of the piece. You are the expert enough to help other people with that. I will be coaching you on the digital front. So, first, as you know, we need to understand stuff about you. I looked into the stuff that you got. You got a lot of domains, you have a lot of platforms that you are active on. So, what would be the best place for people to discover you?
Well, first, I love that metaphor of the cyborg, and I think you have it directly. When I do my own self evaluation, I spend the majority of my career on the human piece, and a little bit like maybe it's a 90-10 or 80% on the human piece, and 10 to 20% on the technology. So this is going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to what that would look like. So the question was, to make sure I understand, is where do we mostly find me and the stuff that I bring to the world in social media? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, where people discover you. Yeah, I saw several places where you are active. This would be Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Which one of those is the place where people find you?
Well, consistency is always the thing for any marketing effort. I would say I'm most consistent on Facebook and really dedicated to building up the platform on YouTube. It's such a great medium. I found myself, I use it all the time. Like everyone uses it. It's the number two search engine in the world. And I was like, no, I really need to share my message here too, not just behind closed doors in like our private Facebook group, which is called Impact and Income. So that's typically where I'm most active is actually on Facebook.
Most active, all right. And where do you get most leads?
Most leads from past clients and referrals.
All
So even
right.
though most of my efforts go into building up the digital marketing aspect of that cyborg that you're mentioning, it's client satisfied clients, referrals and renewals and recommendations.
Yeah, so you are using a lot of time on the cyber part, and the thing that brings you client is still the human part, because asking for referrals is not easy, and engineering the context where your clients are happy enough and understand your business enough to know that they are bringing you value back when they refer somebody that they know to you is not
Right.
easy,
No.
and you do it better than YouTube and Facebook.
As much, Alex, as I want to develop that repeatable strategy for client acquisition, I've been through many like marketing programs that focus on the digital aspect of the cyborg. And they're all pretty much the same, right? Some of them have a Facebook group lead, some of them have a Facebook ads lead, some of them have a challenge lead, but it's all pretty much the same thing. And I've done them and I've gotten results. It's not that I haven't gotten results, but in terms of creating that consistent lead flow, it always comes from the client value that you give to people. So years ago, I decided I like, and most coaches, and maybe this is a generalization, most coaches I deal with, they're not excited about the digital stuff that you do, that you have the expertise in, because they don't care about click-through rates and client acquisition costs and CPCs. I guess probably maybe the same I'm probably using the same metrics to require the same thing. What they care about is giving value. They want to be a coach, not a marketing manager. And so I actually ended up came to create a whole new client acquisition thing called impact funnels rather than click funnels. So whereas you just show up, and the way I think about it, and you're probably going to say you are absolutely hindering yourself, and I'm comfortable with that kind of feedback, is that all right, if I can't create that repeatable digital marketing client acquisition system, then all I can do is what I know how to do, which is coaching. So I show up, I do YouTube, I do Facebook lives, I do all kinds of things to add value to the community that is exposed to me through social media. And then I find that works. Like you put energy in on one side, and even if someone doesn't request a meeting directly from that, it puts energy into the system and it comes back in some other way. So my belief is I do a webinar on Wednesday, and on Thursday I get a referral. Probably from someone who didn't even attend the webinar, but someone who saw that I was doing a webinar and it reminded them that I existed, and that's where that referral came from.
It makes sense, but I think that where you are and where a lot of people are is this place where you did not try good enough, because learning the ropes of human engineering and programming the people for success and debugging people for beliefs that hold them back, for past trauma or whatever we are fixing on the human part, it takes time, and it takes time to master. And when we go and make a digital move, we enroll into some platform, we make the ads, it does not work, we spend budget, and we're like, yeah, that stupid thing. But what we just could not have enough time with it to gain the expertise and do it on the level that works.
Oh,
Yeah, but
I
but but
think
but, but
that
it's
is totally
not something
fair.
unique. Yeah.
Well, this is it, and certainly not trying to be oppositional. So please forgive me if it comes across that way. Every organization that I've worked with is always like, it's just, we just need more budget. You just don't have enough lead flow. So at the end of this, though, theoretically, if you can get one, let's say you have a $3,000 ad spend, and you get one client from that, that's a repeatable system if you can do that on average. So now I know it's $3,000 for a client. If my services, my product is 10,000, you should do that all day long.
Yeah, this is the easiest answer the companies go for. Oh, we need more budget. And the bad marketing managers say the same. Oh, we just don't have enough. And on the second stuff, people who did read one Wikipedia page about marketing, they add the acquisition cost to this equation, saying, "Hey, this is how much we spend for a customer. This is how much the lifetime value of the customer is, and this is a huge step." So not everyone using it. So even by this, I can see that you are you're dipping more than dipping your toes into this kind of things. And also I can see it from the number of domains that you have: johnryanleadership.com, johnryantraining.com, scheduling with Ryan, nlpunlimited.com. These are
Oh,
the one that jumped at me.
I'm a very big fan. I love collecting domains. It's like possibility. I don't know if you have that quote unquote addiction or affinity for domain names, but anytime I get an idea, I'm like, oh, that's a good one. We should use that. I think I looked recently. I have 120 domains. I'm probably using like 10 of them.
Do you know that there are people who also have a name, John Ryan, and you got all the John Ryan domain names for yourself already? And if when they go to make a business, they have no domains,
It's my fault. It's my fault. They can blame me. But I've been offered money for domains before. You know how they reach out and want to contact you, but I don't know. I just like, but the possibility is worth more than any financial opportunity that may come my way in that respect.
this is a nice, juicy fallacy on your part. You know that
Oh,
it's
I'll
like
own it.
me,
I'll own it.
like FOMO, missed opportunity. So you bought a domain for $10. Every year you pay $10 more to maintain this domain, and a person tells you, "Hey, I will pay $300 for this domain," and it is a pretty nice deal. You take the liability away of paying $10 every time. You recap your costs that you already put into the domain. So the deal is cool, it's juicy, but you're just saying, I might have done something nice with this domain later. And you are looking at the financially sane opportunity and saying, but I can do better, probably next year. Yeah.
Possibly. There's part of that there, and certainly from a financial perspective, spreadsheet perspective, yes. Inflows, outflows, return on investment. I'm probably never going to do anything with 80% at least of the domains that I have. So, but then maybe there's a psychological benefit. Maybe there's like just a like an art collector collects art for the appreciation of it. I love that when I want to create a new program, then I'm like, oh, what domains do I have that have the word coaching in it already? And I go, oh, let's assign this one to this, so that when I'm on a podcast, I can say go to John Ryan's Magic Coaching Box, which I probably should buy after this. Just kidding, I'm not going to buy that. I could point to that right from the podcast, and it's super easy to do, rather than nlpunlimited.com/ huge long subdomain
Mhm.
or subdirectory in that case.
it it would have been your payday. You know, a little piece of cinema trivia. You know the movie John Wick?
Sure.
They were originally, this original script had John Ryan, not John Wick.
Really?
Yeah, so if they just kept it, you have imagine how much additional business that you would have from the publicity alone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's cool. Well, I'm glad they went with John Wick because John Wick is definitely a very cool name, and they say it so well in the movie.
Uh, I don't know. The only person on that I spoke to that I would not accept this comment is you. Saying John Wick is better than John Ryan. I
Well,
cannot hear it from John Ryan.
they already have a John Ryan in the Tom Clancy novels.
Ah, Splinter Cell, this kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I believe with the Jack Ryan series, right? So Jack Ryan is the character with John Krasinski, and before that, I want to say, I mean, I can't remember who that was before that. Oh, Chris Pine. They did the movie with Chris Pine, Ben Affleck. There's been several John Ryans. I think Harrison Ford
Mm,
was actually John Ryan in that one as well. So that character, they call him Jack Ryan, but his original name is John Patrick Ryan.
I see.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Which we
So
may be going
you,
off the deep end on the name affinity, but that was fun.
so naming, branding. You have a Facebook group with 1,000 people, and you are streaming to this community every week.
Correct.
How do you invite people into that community? How, yeah, is there a new inflow of people into the group? Do the people who are already in the group get other people to join your streams?
This is where you're probably going to be very disappointed in my digital marketing strategies. So I
No, it's
have
not.
done.
It's not the moment. We have. I have a list. Yeah,
Yeah. There's more pain coming my way. Is that correct?
yeah,
Okay, I'll
correct.
take it. So I in the past I've done there are marketing agencies that will set up a group, and I think of them as the group guys, and they teach you how to do an ad into the group, and I've done some of that, and I think that grew the group a little bit, but most of the growth was just, I think, organic people coming from the naming itself, which is an important thing when you're naming a group, is to have something that connects to the audience that you want to serve. And so that is the primary source, just a little bit. And we've been around for a long time. So compared to other groups, I would say we're quite small in relation to what I think really could be.
So you're saying that name of the group does the SEO for the platform. Your group is called Impact and Income Legacy Building through High Impact Coaching. This is not a CEO title.
So even if it may serve as the SEO function, it is a reflection of what I do inside the group. And that's the thing. I'm not a marketer, I'm a coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I know I struggle with that a lot. My first thing is to name it after the value, not even after the value. First impulse is to name something after what is really inside the group, inside the digital product, inside the course. I resist that as much as I can. The second thought is go and name it after the value that we're giving in this course. This is already a smart move. I already resisted the temptation. And the third move that I am not on yet is that name the group as something that works. I have not figured it out yet. So there is an extra step. Impact and income. I don't just think that the first two words, impact, income, legacy building through high impact, like everything is not SEO. There is coaching, and it is on the last part. Nah, not SEO above. No.
That's
All
fair.
right. Let's figure out what you've done on YouTube. YouTube, I have a big bet on that. All right. I've done 20 episodes so far, and I am not planning to stop. And this is the second season of the podcast, and I am here to stay. So I think that the platform is super awesome, and you have had a huge leg up on me. So you have had experience with the platform, starting with the key convo. Tell me about that.
This was post, well, right at the start of the pandemic. Stopped training and kind of, I consider it retiring from training and traveling, being a road warrior, and was thinking, how else can I give value to the communities that I serve and the people that I work with, and what is it I do? So refining that niche to coaches and leaders, that I wanted to spend some time connecting with people on positive things. There's plenty of things to go negative in 2020, and so came up with key conversations for leaders, and Key Convo was an extension of that. I think we did 50 something episodes, and you've done your research, so clearly you might have an idea of what that is, perhaps
I've
more.
put the numbers as 50 long form podcasts and
Hmm.
391 video in total, with your very creative editing from 1.5 to 4 minutes.
Awesome. Awesome. You see, that's why you're earning the job as the marketing manager, because you know the details of the things more than I do. So 50, I get a 50 something, but it sounds like we repurposed a lot of content, took a lot of clips from that and promoted that. And we did promote that, I know, heavily on LinkedIn. That's where a lot of the leaders that we were interviewing from there. So there was kind of a switch from where's the stage that I want to be on. Before, I was literally in the front of the room at a hotel ballroom and conferences, things like that. And so let's check out the world of podcasts. And where I shifted from that was, one, it was a lot of work, a lot of production value, as you know, from doing a podcast. It takes a lot of time and energy to develop good questions, doing the research on the person and things like that. And also, I was getting feedback from my clients that they loved hearing from these leaders, but they wanted to hear from me. They wanted to hear more content from me and what I think. And so it wasn't really doing that. So we're getting a lot of different ideas from different leaders in different genres, but it wasn't cohesive on the brand of personal growth and development and things like that. It's more about business.
Mm.
So kind of stopped that and went, so, let me just focus on Facebook Lives so I can start sharing content. And that began. And inside of Impact and Income started essentially doing trainings. Initially, they were much longer. I was 30 minutes to an hour training once a week. And because I had tons and tons of content I wanted to share that I used to teach on stage, and then over time decided we need to kind of make this a little bit shorter, more consumable. It was a pretty big hurdle for a lot of people to get over, is to attend those on a weekly basis. So now we call them 5 minute motivational Mondays.
Mhm. What I saw with this channel first, regret. I am in the same niche where I started as the conversations with experts. And then the regrettable part of it is when I saw the channels like yours, you've done several times more work on it, and it does not get the attention that it deserves. And I see it as there is a very big playing field, but people like big podcasts, and the standing out as a small podcast with talking to experts is really difficult. This is my personal pain. I'm in the process of debugging it. We will get to it. What I wanted to ask you from the digital operation perspective about this channel, how did you think about cutting the episodes in this small of a segments, 2 3 minute segments, and post it heavily on YouTube? Was it a data driven decision 3 years ago when you were doing it? Why you did not stop on the big 1 hour, or like you had like more 40 minute episodes? Why did you go and chop that into this small of the pieces?
Well, there was a lot at that point in time of conversations on YouTube around how do you repurpose content
Yeah.
so that you can take, your big form content, your long form, chop it up, take it, turn it into an article, turn it into an audio clip, like lots of different ways that you can repurpose that. So you can theoretically do an hour of work and then have, a week or two of content done just from doing that. And that was, I think, the impetus behind that. And how we did it, I can't remember what software we did then. It's only been a couple of years, but I know that right now we're using Opus.pro, and that will automatically cut through that. That's the mechanism we use, and we've tried CapCut as well, but I kind of like Opus Pro because it gives you, it actually will, AI will analyze and you can put the description of what it is for your YouTube Shorts as an example.
Yeah, but
Back
but
then, YouTube Shorts
I
didn't
see
exist.
it, it
Yeah.
it it never worked. So many of these tiny clips never got a lot of views, like 4, 5, 11 views. So when did you see that it is not working, and what at what moment you stopped?
I would say today years old.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
I didn't. I don't. Then so the impact funnels philosophy is I put it out there. I'm not going to measure how many views because it's done. I can't do anything about that. That's now it's in the ether. It has its own thing. Now this is completely wrong from a marketing perspective, and you should look at the data and make decisions based on that. And my job is to put out content to help people. And so I do
Hmm.
that without any attachment to what it does or doesn't do. I'm happy to have conversations on how to make it better, but I don't have an attachment to it. I don't analyze it. I just show up and be the best version of myself as I can be, which is what I usually recommend for my clients.
Cool. All right. Let's skip to the new channel. New channel, which was, by the way, uh, the thing that prompted us to get in
Mhm.
touch. So I reached out to say a compliment about your new channel, where you have a series, the full course of high ticket offers that sell, and it is an amazing work. This was the first thing that I saw from your channel, and I'm like, oh, this is a tremendous value. This is something that when I stumble upon something like that, I bookmark it because it is valuable. And for my situation, where I am developing a community where I need to give people the value, and with a big promise of not giving them the thing that is everywhere. So trash ideas and time wasters in the business community, we do love that. Yeah, so it was the pearl. How did you start the new channel, and what's in there?
I'd wanted to do YouTube for a long time after doing the Facebook lives so we could expand the audience and have more impact as we talked about. And there's a lot of hesitation because it's a big deal because you have to be committed and you got to have at least like a weekly level of content going into that. And can I sustain it? Well, hemming and hawing, and I was like, okay, by the first of the year, I'm going to get started. And of course, the first of the year came and I didn't get started. And I was like, okay, well, maybe March. Well, in March, Facebook made some announcements on changes into their API about whether you could stream using like Riverside, which you're using, and Ecamm, which I use for recording, or not. And I was like, this is it. Since Facebook is not willing to play, in my perspective, with other software programs, I need a new home. This is the reason. And so I kind of got excited about it. What if we could get this launched in a month? So we dove in March and started creating content. My idea was like any YouTuber would be to have a backlog of 10 videos, but I've been hoping for that for years and it never happens. The only way you can really do it is you got to create your first video and then you have another one due in 7 days. So you got to make that second video and so on and so forth. Fortunately, now what's helping is I'm using some other video editors to help make that happen. So I'm not editing it myself inside of DaVinci Resolve. But the idea is, and again, I love your insights on who do I really help. I coach leaders and I train coaches. It's the idea of a coach creator is that I help people become a coach. So if you are a coach, that makes total sense. If you're a leader, you're a coach too, even if you don't get paid for your time like a normal coach would be. And if you're a parent, you're a coach. everyone really has you as a marketing consultant. You coach people, right? You do some training, you also do
Yeah,
coaching to help them through the process they have. So I think everyone can benefit from coaching skills. That's the why, and that's also the where and when it came from.
definitely. I can stand behind this idea for sure. I had this like tiny epiphany when I got to the point that I'm like, I have people who work with me. I have more expertise than my team. I share pieces of my expertise with my team and see that they can actually use it. I'm a coach. It was like groundbreaking for me. I'm like, oh, that thing.
Awesome. It's such a shift because we can't do it for our employees. We can't make our children or our spouse do anything, but we can coach them through the obstacles that are in their way. We can make sure they have the resources to be successful. And so if we can really break down how do we frame things? What are the mindsets they need to have? What are the internal blocks people have? The better we are at that, the better they're able to get the results for their own reasons, not because we're trying to convince them to do something.
All right. All right. I think that this channel will grow. You are doing good things with this channel. I am shocked and appalled that the course that I praise so high does not get too many views. But your other videos where you are doing, you are inventing stuff with thumbnails, those sometimes do really well. So congrats on that. I think that this would be a better, uh, definitely better than your Facebook SEO.
And key
So
combo as well.
this is a safe place where you can put that energy and effort to have one to many communication that many businesses need, most businesses need.
Sure. I appreciate that feedback and affirmation that we're on the right path and that this content has the potential there. It's something we struggle with all the time, just making sure like, is this the right content? Is it for the right people? And are we presenting it properly and things like that? That I do care about. So while I don't care about the views, I can't do anything about that. All I do care about is am I putting out the best quality content I possibly can at this moment in time? And that will continue to be our focus. But I do need people like you to help me stay on track and make sure we're giving content that other people also want as well.
Speaking of the best content you can, I'm on your LinkedIn page. I can see a profile that looks like professional. It uses blue banner. There is some kind of books or courses in there. But the only featured thing that you have on the page is leadership and communications lessons from dogs. Dr. Ryan, I don't get it. What is that?
Lessons from dogs, the lead breed assessment style.
Yeah,
Is
what's
that the one
that?
you're talking about? Yeah. So there's all kinds of personal assessments, and it may not be your thing as well. I have not been on LinkedIn, admittedly, in 3 years. So it is definitely not the one that I'm most active on, although there is a history of key conversations, podcasts, and I'm sure quotes and other things like that. So it takes me back that was there. On LinkedIn, which is more of a professional business focus. So I train coaches, that's or train and coach leaders. The leader aspect was that. And I created an assessment called the lead breed assessment, which means like, hey, what's your lead breed? And there's this analogy. Think about Myers-Briggs, the disc, and things like that. And some of those are really easy to use, and some of them get really quite complicated and hard to remember. And I love the Myers-Briggs, but you have to memorize 16 different personality profiles to kind of make that happen. So I came up
Who's
with
Miles
this.
Briggs? You're saying it like I should know that. What's that?
Oh, I'm so sorry. There's something called the MBTI. It's a personality
Huh?
style assessment, and experts will tell me it's not just a personality style assessment; it does other things. MBTI stands for Myers Briggs and type indicator, like what type of you, actually based on Carl Jung's work, psychologist protege of Sigmund Freud,
All right.
and
If I get to be a freaking collie, what does that say to uh, Does it say things about how I do business, or does that say things about how you need to coach me as a collie dog?
Well, both.
What's the result
Let
of
me
that?
I will connect the two, right? So we look at
Yeah,
Carl Jung, you know the idea of extrovert versus introversion,
yeah,
extroversion, introversion, right? So that's one of the metrics on the Myers-Briggs. Are you extroverted, introverted? Are you a
uh-huh,
perceiver or a judger? The different dimetrics or dimensions of personality. The lead breed assessment identifies what is your general energy as a leader. And so the German Shepherd is more of the director. They're going to bark orders, right?
all
The
right.
Border Collie is the one who's going to go into the spreadsheet and look at the data. So did you come across as a Border Collie? Is that the option that you got when you went through?
I didn't take the test.
You didn't take the test. Okay. It's
No.
like 5 or 7 questions, really easy to do if you want to take a look at it as well. Then you have, please forgive me, the Saint Bernard and the Jack Russell. Saint Bernard is the rescuer. They're the person who wants to help people and save the world. And the Border Collie, sorry, the Jack Russell is the one who's more a traditional salesperson, the gregarious, extroverted. And so why do we care about these? And I don't always teach these. I think it's a fun exercise to go through. Most of us has a preference in one or the other. So if you're a Border Collie and I'm trying to coach you, I want to use logic. I want to use reason. I want to have spreadsheets and data, not how good it's going to look for you on your resume, which is more of a Jack Russell concern. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because they're more extroverted. They want to be the life of the party. They want awards, recognition, and things like that. So it's a shorthand way to assess different personality styles, how to work well with each other, and also what motivates them in and as we coach them and lead them in life.
How does it work? Because I saw this test in the main menu of your website. So this is a lead grabber. So when
Sure.
the person submits the test, you get their email and you get their dog breed. What's the next step when you get that information? I used this
They
starting
get a
the
report.
email. Hey, hey Susan, you are a Saint Bernard, so come into the pack.
Correct. Correct. Well, I, again, not a marketer. So it is actually a value proposition. Sure, you join my website, you join my emailing list, and you get then invitation into, let's say, the Impact and Income Facebook group, which has
Mhm.
horrible SEO. And now you're going to start receiving emails about our YouTube channel, which has links to other lead magnets. Again, it's not a well-oiled, like perfectly designed marketing machine. It's 90% give value with a little bit of a, hey, do you want to join our webinar? Do you want to join our training? Do you want to coach with me one-on-one? That happens like very sparingly throughout the process. So could it be more direct and to that? Yes. In between that, when someone fills out the lead breed assessment, they of course find out there's a little picture and there's a little graph, like a picture of a really cute animated Saint Bernard. If you want to take a look, it actually is worthwhile. I was really happy to get that from Fiverr, to have someone draw those up for me. And then they get a report that goes through all the breeds and the strengths and opportunities for each one and how to communicate with them and how to influence them and coach them and things like that.
All right. Does it work for you as a business? So when they get this tiny value from you for free, they have filled in the questionnaire, they get the result, they get the tiny value. How, like, are there some people who convert into following you in the group or getting in touch?
Well, if I were to ask you, do you think I track those things?
All right.
No, of course not. I put it up, I set it up, and people show up in my coaching. Like that's kind of how it
Yeah.
works. And there's a black box in between of tracking and measurability and decisions based on that.
But uh, how can you how can you keep doing the digital things when you don't know which of them works? It's like doing the effort blind. You're taking the axe, you're blindfolded, and you go make wood for your fireplace. You will be cold and dead eventually. Ah, all right,
But
but
I'm not.
it's fine.
I'm
The
I'm
dogs
well
thing
fed.
was
I live
not
in a
yet
in a
the
great house. I have a great life. I spend most of my time helping people, and it just kind of works. Like, so it's let's say it's a faith
But you
strategy.
don't know
That's what the impact.
what
You know.
thing in there works. So how do you know what can you do more of so your business works even better if you don't measure those things? But all right,
So I,
the
I
dogs thing.
agree. Like, you are
Yeah.
100% accurate. And for any person that I would coach, I would say, yes, get the data so you can make better decisions. And that's not what I want to do. Like, I want to create cool things that help people to be better coaches and better leaders. And I do it, and it kind of works. It's sad. It's not a repeatable business strategy. I wouldn't recommend it to most people.
Yeah, it's another kind of thing. All right. I will jump to to your side to protect you a little bit. It's not completely worthless. All right. It's called like intuitive. This is the nice immeasurable stuff that you do, and you get the feedback anyhow. People are coming to your coaching, you say, oh, people coming, so something is working. It's not the backed by data, but intuitive things still work. And when marketers like me dismiss intuitive things completely, they still fail. So there must be a balance.
It's very kind of you to honor that side, and I would say it's even less than you can categorize it as intuitive. It's not even based on intuition. It's more like, why do I create high ticket offers that sell? It's because I know my clients that I work with need help in developing their high ticket offers. So I create that. I'm like, well, let me just make that available to everyone on YouTube for free, even though it's like a $500 program. Why would I do that? Because I want to help people. And if they like that, they're gonna like working with me and the other things that we do. So that's as deep as it goes, Alex. I believe that's as deep as it goes. Now, could we get better in analyzing data? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know, looking back in my life, I will not be happier that I spent more time on spreadsheets. Maybe I need to get someone else to help me with that.
Well, dog things and not collecting the analytics is not your biggest issue. So you were thinking that, oh, this is the thing that Alex wanted to get my attention to as a value. No, no, the biggest value for you to get out of this conversation, and I do my best to make that happen with my guests, is you on your website have multiple call to actions. Contact us to learn more. Free strategy session. This is very nice, very cool. But they don't work. The main call to action on your website leads to a broken page. All right? Fix the calendar. This is the biggest value I can give you. Magically, people will be able to book time with you. Really awful,
The
John.
real problem with the calendar is my calendar's full with clients. So they won't be able to, because it'll be full anyways. And I hear you. I definitely want to fix that link. Thank you for letting me know.
Fix that. Awful. All right. When we fix the link, it would be very, very good. Then it is not easy to get to your courses. The navigation is not good. But we do have the list of all your products. It has things like NLP coach practitioner, NLP real estate practitioner, NLP change mastery. So, natural language processing, how did you get into that?
So, interestingly enough, before we get into that, NLP in this context refers to neuro linguistic programming.
Ah,
Natural language
another
processing
thing.
relates to large language models and AI and ChatGPT and things like that. So it's a very popular thing. So if you look up NLP, 50-50 chance you're going to get neurolinguistic programming or natural language processing, which I have to think about sometimes. So, not an expert in natural language processing, expert in neurolinguistic programming. But to answer your question, how did I get involved with that? It started when I was 20, And how anyone gets involved in personal growth and development, and if I trace it back, is either things are going really well and you want to make it better, or things are not going well and you want to turn it around. And for me, it was the latter. Things weren't going well, and I didn't notice it. My parents did, and so they wanted me to go to a training on NLP that they had just been to. They thought it was great, and so they sent me. Changed my life. I knew this is what I wanted to do from the first day. I think it was actually the second day we're doing goal setting, and the question the trainer asked is like 5 years from now will arrive. The question is, where do you want to be? Because the time to decide that is now, not 5 years from now. And I looked up and I said, I know where I want to be. I want to be on that stage. Well, it took me longer than 5 years to get there, but it was the first time I really looked at goal setting as a strategy. I never really thought of goal setting. I was 20 years old at that point, and now it's probably more commonplace than ever. And it transformed my life. Every decision I made turned my life around. Started getting graduate degrees and things like that. Business consulting and everything else came from that experience.
How are those different? Those are paid courses. NLP for real estate person, NLP for coaching person, NLP for business person. How are those three different? And how did you manage to localize NLP course into real estate? Did you get a real estate person and taught them extensively and then package that into a course?
So a lot of my clients are in the real estate space, both as brokers and also as investors. And I'm actually a realtor as well since 2008. So
Mm.
before I started traveling and training, my wife wanted to get into real estate to leave her corporate job. And so we both went and became agents, then became brokers, and did a couple deals, actually, and stopped doing that once I started traveling and training. And since then, the majority of the clients I work with, most people at some level, even entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, get involved in real estate because that's a great place to put your money and investing in for the future. Stocks, bonds, real estate.
Yeah.
Those are some of the choices. So I'd say almost everyone I work with has some involvement in real estate. And so how I came across this idea is most people go to an NLP training. It is a general training. So is it in the beginning of the training, I would ask, hey, how many of you are here for real estate? How many are here for coaching? How many are here for business? How many are for just to grow and develop your personal life and your skills? And so then throughout the training, you're like, okay, for those of you that are here for coaching, this is a great one for you. For those of you here for real estate, this is a good one for you. And so if you think about it, that actually means that the information you're getting, most of it is not geared towards you. So initially, my first practitioner training that I recorded for NLP Unlimited site was just for business. So it was the first themed NLP training that I was aware of. And I said, well, no, we should create one for real estate because that's also most of my clients have some involvement in real estate. So all it is, the difference is taking the strategies and the techniques and putting them in the context of the most common problems people in real estate use. So all the examples, the manuals, everything is recreated in the context of real estate. And then the same thing happened for coaching. So if I were to redesign an NLP training just for coaches, so we're not talking about the normal general strategy for parenting, we're talking about how do we use this as a coach.
Mhm.
That's where that came from. So I think of them as themed or flavored NLPs. It's the same structure, but different examples, different application, and stories that come from that.
What I have a as a pointer for you. First, it was not easy to find. I used my IT skills to find where are all your courses, because the where I would see a main conversion point, the upper right corner of the page, the main button, it leads to login. Have no idea where I'm logging in into. All right. So when you discover the courses, you have a lot of courses on one page, and this is an issue. There are too many courses on one single page because it is not easy to shop when you have too many options to choose from. Yes, we will think that people will look through all of them and then choose the one that applies to their particular case. No, they don't do it. They close the page. So this is something to improve. But the thing that I will share with you, which is better than that, you have a 4,099.7 $5,000 course, NLP Change Mastery. I click on it and I get to a page that has title NLP Change Mastery and the button buy. This is all the data you're sharing on the most important step, where the person is tiny bit one step from the purchase, and everything you get them is a stock image and this title. Yeah, this needs to prompt me to buy your $5,000 course. Are you kidding me? So put the
Yeah,
content, put your face out there, saying this guy leads the course. Tell me what is valuable inside the course. How many hours of video and other different materials in there in the 5,000? It's crazy. This is something that is, I don't know, 2 hours of work that will easily 3x whatever you are doing with your courses sales. It's crazy.
I'm not selling from that page. That is what is default on Thinkific. That's the platform that we use. So
Mhm.
where you found that was all from the storefront that they put out there. So yes, we could
It's
go in and
awful.
do that.
Fire
Our
them.
model is on NLP Unlimited. There's primarily two pages, two sales pages. One for what is currently known as the foundations. The other one is called the mastery program. The foundations program, you look through it, you get all three of those practitioner trainings, a bunch of bonuses, and that's very clearly laid out the benefits, what's involved in each thing. I think you may have found that one as well, and it's like $97 a month. The mastery program, that is, I think, actually there's no even price on that. It goes through all the programs that are there, but you have to schedule a call. Why? Because I want to make sure it's a fit for you. So I don't expect someone to who we just met to put down $5,000 for a year long mastery program. No, we need to have a conversation, and it's a high ticket offer, and I think that deserves that. So all of that is geared towards, hey, here's what's in the program, and if it seems like a fit for you, let's schedule a call. I will double check to make sure that schedule call link works as well.
You are so good with video, but the I don't see a video on the landing page for mastery.
Oh, my to-do list is ever growing, Alex. Like it's I want to create a video for this, and so right now we're actually redesigning some things, and then we'll go back through and update how we communicate the value on those
This
pages.
landing page is like a kilometer long. You've put so much effort into crafting the landing page. The number of blocks, different layouts that they're using is crazy. You're like you've taken, I don't know, 10 website templates and put it into one landing page that talks to
12,
people.
12, 12 templates actually.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
All right, yeah, awesome. But it everything only uh, crafted towards people who read, and people who read are not the majority of people nowadays. So
That's a
a
fair point. Yeah.
single video from you, like in 4 minutes, explaining what the course is about on the first position on this landing page would increase conversion a lot. You know,
Okay.
people do not like reading. Don't make me read. No, 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 no. I unsubscribe from people who send me long emails.
And that is the new trend. Less and more video, less active involvement in consuming your content. How do you make it easier and easier for people to consume? And so I'm definitely not at the forefront on that. I think some people still like to read, and we'll see.
Good thing that I can see you are sharing free value with the community on your new YouTube channel, which I really like. There is a freebie. You're saying, here, you found a free gift, assertive communication and setting boundaries, a course valued for $500, you're giving away for free to people who find you from YouTube. This is admirable. What's inside the course?
It's one of my favorite tools for leaders. If you really think about it, we get asked questions all the time for people want us to do things, right? And so we have to learn how to say no. Steve Jobs said one of the most valuable time management tools on the planet is just the word no, saying no to that. But people have anxiety around it. And so we look at what does assertive communication really mean? A lot of people don't really take the time to understand what the difference is between aggressive communication, passive communication, and assertive communication right there in the middle, which is about valuing our rights and valuing the rights of others. There's other contents and frameworks that go into that. But once you understand that you have a right to set a boundary and communicate what your needs are in a relationship, in business, and even with your clients, like that's an important thing too, is setting boundaries. Like you mentioned, like you want to work on the weekends and do podcasts on the weekends so you can maximize your time, but people don't. They're setting a boundary in a way. They're respecting their right and your right to work on the weekends, but they're not. And so how do we, what's an actual strategy that we can use? And so I use what's called the NICE framework, which is need identification. What do I need? How do we communicate that? And then how do we enforce it if that boundary is not actually being respected?
Mm-hmm. All right. So, how do you teach those principles inside the course?
What do you mean? How do I teach them?
The the course, I follow you on YouTube. I go to your description, and I get assertive communication and setting boundaries. What form this product?
Oh,
What's
it's
inside? Is it video? Is it audio? Is
oh,
it
please
text?
forgive me.
Is
Yeah,
it
yeah, that's
images?
simple of a question. Yes, it is a video framework. So it is video, and I think it's a little bit over an hour long. So really simple, easy to consume, and it really can be a game changer. It's the same stuff I teach my clients who pay me thousands of dollars a month to teach them how to do that.
All right. But why it was $500 if it's an hour-long video?
Oh, it's worth way more than that, actually.
Value-based pricing. I like that.
Value-based pricing.
Cool, cool.
Yeah. I mean, you just went through high ticket offers. You told me that sell, and you said, "Wow, I got things that I could have spent hours looking for on the internet that you did it in such a way that really made sense."
Hmm.
That's what I do. I take almost 30 years of experience and compress it in a way that you can easily understand, oh, what it is, why I need to use it, how to do it, and then immediately apply it in your life.
I get it. That course is amazing. I will say it again and again. Uh, on the podcast, I've met several coaches, and you know how the mechanics work. When you talk to a person to be able to understand them, you put yourself in their position. So talking to few coaches, I'm like, I do happen to be able to understand coaches. Am I a coach? Do I start coaching people? And then I came to this idea of business as a cyborg and thought like, oh no, I will not go to the human side of the question because of the way I am. I am not fit to do that. Because during this conversation, I was very direct uh, about the issues that you have in your digital part of the business. If I would have done the same in your position, saying, "Hey, you're thinking stupid," it would be awful because you need this finesse. You need to be tactful when presenting challenges to a person. And I'm saying website piece stupid, make link work. So this is the direct approach that I really like, and I am happy that uh, business part systems are not so fragile as our human parts. Yeah, I hope you fix those things, man, because I can see how uh, how the effort that you're putting into your content and into the things that you sell really can help people. So that's why I really want you to make the digital operations part work as smoothly as your communication with the human counterparts.
I'll be working on it.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Alex.
I hope to chat again soon, and I will send you an invite to my community. Maybe you will want one like that.
I'm sure there's plenty I can learn. Thank you.
All right. Ciao.